all this is going on, something very profound is happening within Simon Peter. Simon Peter is becoming a new kind of person, a new disciple, you might say. It didn't happen for Simon in a blinding flash like it did for the Apostle Paul on the road to Damascus. But his transformation, although it may be a bit slower, it's just as real. Simon Peter has become a different man. You see, Easter is about people being transformed, our lives being transformed by the risen Christ. In fact, one of the best proofs of the resurrection of Jesus Christ is real is the transformation that is seen in those who have experienced it. Like the song, you ask me how I know He lives? He lives within my heart. Now, none of the disciples before the resurrection had shown themselves to be particularly courageous. But after the resurrection, we find they are no longer hiding from the Roman authorities, they're no longer cowering in fear, but they are becoming excited, they're becoming fearless witnesses, ready to lay down their lives to testify that Jesus Christ has been raised from the dead. The proof that the Christian faith is real is the effect that it's had on people throughout the ages who have received Christ as their Lord and their Savior. People all over the world who tell us that the risen Christ has made all the difference in their lives. Author Jan Salvanus tells the story of such a person, a young woman with a very interesting name. Her name was Iris Blue. Now, Iris Blue, at a young age, headed down the wrong path. She started on that path in high school. She ran around with a wild crowd, experimenting with drugs and sex and minor crimes. And she was doing anything necessary to get people to like her. She eventually graduated to major crimes and actually spent time in prison. So she fell pretty low, lower than most women ever fall. And one day an evangelist visited the bar that Iris hung out in. And he repeatedly tried to tell her about Christ, but she refused to listen. And one day the evangelist got frustrated, and so he said to Iris, you're just nothing but a tramp. And Iris replied, you're probably right. But you know what? All I ever wanted to be was a lady. And that softened the evangelist's heart, and so he began to explain to Iris, you know what? Jesus can make you that lady that you've always wanted to be. And after that night, Iris Blue's life was transformed. She gave up wild living. In fact, she became a Christian evangelist, traveling to prisons and churches to tell others the amazing story about how Jesus had transformed a hopeless tramp into a lady. You see, that's what happens when Easter becomes real in people's hearts and in people's lives. That's why the tradition developed years and years ago of people wearing brand new clothes on Easter Sunday. It wasn't so they could make a fashion statement. It was to signify that the resurrection transforms people's lives. That when we invite Christ into our life, that the power of the risen Savior and His transforming love makes all the difference in us. It's like putting on new clothes. Certainly Simon Peter had his life radically changed once he had denied Christ. Now he's boldly preaching that Christ is raised from the dead. In fact, listen to his testimony as recorded in Acts. These words are from his very first sermon. He says, God anointed Jesus of Nazareth with the Holy Spirit and power. And Jesus went about doing good things and healing all those who were oppressed by the devil, for God was with him. We are witnesses to all that both Jesus did in Judea and Jerusalem, But they put him to death by hanging him on a tree. But God raised him from the dead on the third day, and appeared not to all people, but to us who were chosen by God as witnesses. We ate and drank with him after he rose from the dead. That's Peter's testimony, because he was there. He witnessed it. He saw Jesus crucified. He saw Jesus buried. And he saw Jesus after he rose from the dead on the third day. And he lives forever. That's Simon Peter's testimony, and we know it's true. Not because he said it, but because he lived it. And one day, according to Christian tradition, Peter was crucified for his witness. He would not deny his Christ. And he died a martyr's death for Christ. So that's why we're here on this place on this Easter Sunday, because Christ is risen.
He is risen indeed.
And Christ transforms the lives of those who believe in the risen Christ and allow his life to become a part of their life. As they invite him in, he makes us new people. Preacher and author James Moore sums it all up when he tells about this story about a funeral. It's the funeral of Clarence W. Jordan. Maybe you recognize the name Clarence Jordan. But I'm not talking about Michael Jordan's father. I'm talking about a Clarence Jordan who died in 1969 after a lifetime of sharing the gospel with others. He will probably be remembered most for his homespun translation of the scriptures, which he entitled the Cotton Patch Version. Now, when Clarence Jordan died, many of his friends reminisced at the funeral about his vibrant qualities, his strength, his gentleness, his commitment to Christ, his wonderful sense of humor, his simple life and his eloquent words, and his ability to be at ease with anybody, anywhere from all walks of life. So Clarence Jordan was buried in the hillside. That's a part of the Koinonia Farms. It's a bold community of faith that he and his wife had founded. So at his funeral, there was something that was surprising and beautiful that happened. Well, people were sobbing and mourning. That's not the beautiful thing. But as everyone was grieving and the men were shoveling the dirt of Georgia on top of his cedar casket, a little 2-year-old girl that lived on the farm, unprompted and spontaneously stepped up to the grave, and she began to sing her very favorite song. She says that this was a very special day for her friend Clarence. So boldly, in her little 2-year-old voice, she sang a song for Clarence. And here's what she sang. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Clarence. Happy birthday to you. Now, do you understand that while Christmas is Jesus' birthday, Easter is ours? By his death and by his resurrection, Christ has made it possible that we can experience a new birth, that we can experience new life. So why shouldn't we wear new clothes on Easter? For we are Easter people. Easter is about the transformation that the risen Christ makes in our lives. Because Christ is risen.
He is risen indeed.
And may his life show through our lives. Amen.
Amen.
The bell choir is going to come and ring